Evening, folks. Brian here, Geomagnetic Earthwatch, Friday, May 30th, 2025. Before I start tonight's talk about the multipolar field, do an update on that long duration flare. So it turns out it's a 4-hour duration flare in the M range. So it reached the M range at 2338 UTC, and it's right on the bottom of the M range at 0344. So just over a 4-hour duration flare so far. It did produce a halo CME, coronal mass ejection. Not that one, this one coming up. It looks like the bulk of the plasma is going to be directed away from planet Earth. However, full halo, so in all directions. So we will get it. Patience. We'll figure out maybe tomorrow. They'll have a timing. Please remember that the timing is plus or minus 6 hours. And as I said, this CME, containing billions of tons of the highly charged particles and magnetic field, is going to catch a ride in the faster solar winds. So let's get on with the discussion. So the key thing to remember is what affects the planet is the highly energetic charged particles, mostly protons, some electrons. And when they penetrate or reach Earth's atmosphere, they interact with the atmospheric atoms, where a change takes place. A single cosmic ray will interact with the atmospheric atoms, and then a secondary showering particle effect of muons rains down on our planet. They do penetrate the cusp, and when interacting with silica-rich magma, causes what's called bubble nucleation, pressurizing the magma. It needs to rise, ascend. And it is how the highly energetic particles are delivered and the duration of the event and how Earth responds. But now, where the energy is entering the Earth through the atmosphere into the outer core where our magnetic field is generated from, now through, as I suspect, a multipolar field with multiple weak areas around our planet of the field. Rips, tears, holes. We don't know yet because we're now going into a new field of study, a new field. Get it? So the outer edge, magnetopause of our magnetic field, magnetic cusps, where the solar particles would normally flow into, right down into the outer core of our planet, normally. Now during So during geomagnetic storms and accelerated solar winds, it's going to break apart those magnetic field lines like this. Snap. So normally the highly charged particles will follow the field lines down into the cusps, normally. Now, as we start the geomagnetic excursion, the field starts to become entangled, disorganized, to the point where it develops multiple magnetic poles around our planet. So basically it's a researched fact that during the excursions the planet develops, these multiple poles. Now, at the current time, this is my theory based on observation study, that we are at the beginning phases, steps of developing multiple magnetic poles, as evidenced or suggested by the numerous failures in certain regions of the planet, the grid failures, the subway failures, the subway fires, the fires and the rise of heat in the same areas, telecommunication failures, air traffic control ATC failures, ATC radar failures, disturbances with GPS and GNSS systems, which is the Global Navigational Satellite System, such as has been reported throughout the United Kingdom, Portugal, Spain, France. Then in a separate region, Macedonia, their solar array panels were overloaded during one of these geomagnetic storms. And again, we are entering uncharted areas, something we've never experienced before, modern man and society. And we don't know how long the pole will be here, here, and here as it shifts around, creating these weak areas around the planet. So the last one, I suspected, as I said, was the United Kingdom, Spain, France, Portugal. Is it still there, or has it shifted somewhere else? We're going to soon find out. And so, as our protective magnetic field continues to destabilize and weaken, with vulnerable areas here and there, the simple solar winds in of themselves are going to be causing these issues, as well as the increased absorption of the cosmic rays, muons, through the crust and into the outer core, where our magnetic field is generated from. And so that heats up and it pressurizes the outer core. Remember this gesture I did a few days ago that someone else just finished doing on a live stream? Outer core expansion. That pressure, that harder magma, has to escape up through the mantle plumes. Mantle plume head, mantle plume correction, mantle plume tail, mantle plume head to the underside of the lithosphere in which the crust and the oceans sit upon. Pressurized. Now, there's also magmatic bodies at this level throughout the planet. You get the muon saturation into those magmatic bodies, reservoirs for volcanoes, for example. You're going to have some issues. Like I said, uncharted territory. We're not going to know what the next area is going to be. Now, in about... so what the CME launched, and we're not going to know for a day at least, and what they have to figure out is how to work this into the accelerated solar wind stream. So normally a coronal mass ejection takes 24 to 72 hours to reach us. In the extremes case, a very large Carrington-like event could take 12 hours. But this is not a Carrington-level event. Now, someone just finished saying it is absolutely not going to be a G5. You cannot say that. That is just stupid. You can't say nothing's going to happen either. So therefore, I would say 24 to 48 hours, we will be in, I'm not going to say which level. the simple fact that this coronal hole stream spiked up to a G3 strong geomagnetic storm, the solar winds the accelerated solar winds. So here's the other thing. So I talked about a lower level, long duration flare can have more of an impact than a much higher level, short duration flare. You can have an X9, we've taken an X9, but a long duration M-class flare can have more of an impact. But, folks, because of the coronal hole openings releasing the faster solar winds carrying the highly charged particles, these events have been lasting for days at a time. It's been at least 48 hours that the planet Earth has been impacted and hit, and it's still up into 700 plus kilometers per second range. That's the solar winds carrying those highly charged particles, the delivery system. Okay, it is the delivery system, and in this case, it's the solar winds. The planet is being absorbed with that cosmic energy. And it has to be released once again in the form of earthquakes, more volcanic eruptions, fires. Now we just don't know. One other thing I should mention. What? One other thing I should mention is it's going to deplete areas of the our protection of the ozone layer. So along with the multiple magnetic poles and the developing weak areas, through those weak areas, increases in the ultraviolet radiation coming in, which contributes to the droughts and wildfires. So this is the last day in May. It's the last day of the billing period for YouTube content creators. And like I said before, I'm trying to do 2 videos a day, but to get out the information that I feel that we should know about. This is based on my observations on a daily basis and what's happening on our planet, and continuing to work on my theories and so on and so on and so on. As I get too close, the hammer's going to come down. So for the time being, I'm remaining here on YouTube. I do have my backup channel on Telegram. And I don't want to have to start switching over, but it's always in the back of my mind. So primary YouTube, Facebook. I mean, there's still over 30,000 people on my Facebook. Continue, please, to do the migration over to YouTube. Regardless, I'm just simply going to put my videos, YouTube link onto Facebook, as well as Telegram. And then, to the best of my understanding, nobody else is covering the issue of the multipolar field, if that is the case. And what is happening on our planet suggests we are at the beginning stages of that. You see, people are throwing out numbers. We've lost 20%. We lost 25%. We lost 30%. We lost 35%. This is based on nothing. Nothing. Nobody knows. But now you need to figure out the percentages based on a multipolar field. Now, to say we've lost 25% over the whole area, that may no longer apply anymore, would it? So I'm going to probably get in one more video tonight because I see some things happening. And if you want to know the effects, the biological health effects, to simply go to my, most of the time, I'll do a very quick video. Okay. So I've always had the shirt on. It's not me, it must be you. I've done this so many times. I am suffering from some cognitive deficits, short-term memory losses, which is a symptom of cosmic radiation. So let's go through it. The brain and the heart function off electrical impulses as well as chemical signals. When they are exposed to the highly charged particles of cosmic rays, the secondary showering particles we call muons, our central and autonomic nervous systems, as well as cardiovascular system and other bodily functions can be affected. Now, some people are more sensitive to the energetic energies coming in. There have been connections on the, there have been studies on the connections between human health and cosmic rays. They call it heliobiology. However, in these studies, they have failed to mention that the fact that we are undergoing a geomagnetic excursion resulting in the destabilization and weakening of our protective magnetic field. Now, there's different there's different wavelengths of radiation coming in. The hard X-rays released during the actual flare stage. Maybe somebody felt that one from the M8 that happened not too long ago. It only takes 8 minutes to reach us. To the other levels, taking anywhere from 12 to 24 to 72 hours to reach us. And we also have the radiation storm events, the proton events. So let's go over the neurological effects. Headaches and migraines, including those not predisposed to having headaches and migraines, frontal lobe compression, pressure, temporal stabbing, dizziness, vertigo, feeling unwell, sense of disorientation, tinnitus, ringing in the ears, sinus issues to visual disturbances, joint pain, skin irritation, burning, tingling, other physiological changes and abnormalities, gastrointestinal issues. Multiple sclerosis can be affected, these people, as well as arthritis, flare-ups, dementia, epileptic seizures, extreme sensitivity to light, cardiovascular effect, very well known now, increased heart rate, tachycardia, palpitations, awareness of the heart, irregular heartbeat, arrhythmias, blood flow alterations, cardiac arrest, strokes, high blood pressure, stress, strokes. One of my favorite subjects, neuropsychological, that which makes us go cuckoo. Emotional instability with frequent mood swings, irritability, argumentative, easily triggered, impatient, frustrated, anxiety, depression. Emotional fluctuations due to their external energies. Confused, sadness, worrying, despair, depression, anxiety, fear, brain fogging. But on the other hand, racing thoughts, intensification of dreams. You can have lack of focus. Behavioral changes, outburst rage, violence, increased incidence of road rage and outbursts on airlines. Higher altitude, more exposed to the cosmic radiation. Increased admissions to hospital psych wards, increased suicides. Just a lack of motivation to do anything. Then it can really affect our cognitive ability, our cognitive deficits or changes, our ability to learn, memorize, decision-making, creative thinking, speaking, problem-solving, reasoning, focusing, processing information. This can be exacerbated by excessive to fear-based media or negative environments and people bombarding you. This includes exaggerated fear porn, screaming, yelling pastors. Another one I have a lot of experience with, mental health. Those with mental health conditions and challenges. This would include autism, ASD, ADD, ADHD, OCD, anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, psychosis. And what can we do to help? Knowledge is key. Knowledge. Know ahead of time. These are some of the things that you, your family, your loved ones, starting in about, 24 to 48 hours, may start experiencing and feeling. What can we do? Having this knowledge at hand, plan your days in advance. Don't plan on doing anything stressful or strenuous. Try and plan a day, go for a walk in the forest, go for a swim, do yoga, read a book. Do not initiate discussions with your spouse, which would be triggering in of itself. Hold it off. Have I covered enough? That was all. As you were, stand at ease.